Hey everybody, Brandon Shiga here for week 1 of cross-platform mobile development, the user registration application. Just going to go ahead and go between my code and the rubric and just show that I met all the requirements here. So first requirement is user authentication. Basically, they just want you to have sign up, login, and credential saving, which I'll kind of go over because I was not too sure about that. But you can see in my browser here I don't have any current users. So I'll go ahead and sign up with a new account. We'll just call it test. I'll sign up. Now if I refresh this, you can see that user was created with the username of test and the email test@test.com. And then the user is automatically logged in and presented with this screen. So I'll show login here really quick. Same account. So that's log in and log out. And then for saving user credentials, I couldn't find anything that really does it, but I just noticed that if you reload the application, it automatically stores them and logs you in until you log out. So I hope that hits that point. And then here on creating data, app allows creation of user data, and that's at least 2 types. So here's my data type. It's an object, a class of object. And then I have 3 types actually. I have a string, which is the name, I have a number, which is the age, and then I have a pointer to the user, which is called user. So that just basically lets me assign the object to a certain user. So if I go in here and I type in my name and then my age, and I click save, you can see this updates, but I also see if I refresh this, I see my object here, which is assigned to my user, which is IWZ43, blah, blah, blah. That's the same thing right there. And then I can also update this. So if I type in John and then 30, I click save. See, John and 30 shows up here. And then the object updates as well. So it will only be 1 object per user for this. And then number 3, reading data. So app retrieves data, and there's at least 2 types again. So this is the retrieval right here. So where it says John and 30. It's not actually just pulling the text from the fields and setting it here, because if you see, if I log out and then log back in, it says it updates to John and 30. So basically what happens is in my view did appear, I query for an object, a class of object, where the user key is equal to the current user that's logged in. And again, this is a pointer. So if I don't get an error, I loop through all the objects, there's only 1, I set it to my global user object. If it's not null, then I assign the text feed, the labels to the current things, and you can see that this is actually a number that gets pulled, and I have to convert it to a string. If there is no user object, then I just type in this, please type your age and please type your name in. And then you can see in the save button here, this is where I actually do the saving, so I check if there is a current user object, so when the user logs in, it gets their object, so I can update it. If not, it saves a new one. But I also call this view did appear method, which basically refreshes the screen and reruns this to check for the object. So that's how that gets pulled in. And then app properly blocks the user from accessing the application until the user's logged in, and they can log out. So I'll show that here really quick, and also says that all the buttons are functional. So if the user tries to do anything when they're logged in, like go back to the login screen, they can't. It just keeps presenting them with this controller. And then if I log out, it kicks them out, pops that view controller off, and then presents them with the modal again. And you cannot click out of this, like to go into the app. The only way in is to log in. So that is my app for the week. I hope you guys like it, and I will see you next week. Thanks a lot.